Jingming Li, thank you very much for joining us today. Before we get into Alibaba, Alipay, and the exciting things you're doing, first a little bit of your background.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's my great pleasure. Yeah, I'm Jingming. I'm the president of the Alipay US. And I grew up in China, and I went to school in Canada for graduate school. And I came to California in about 1994.
Your father was an engineer, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was an engineer. My mother was an engineer. My sister is an engineer. So I grew up in an engineering family. And yeah, I worked at a little startup called Netscape in the early days in '96. So in there, I travel a lot of places. And
so you're well familiar with the valley?
Yes, I've been there for a very long time. Then one thing is also the AOL and the Sun, so some ecosystems. So they, then I think around 2003 or 2004, I began to travel a lot of times into China. So, so one of the opportunities is really to help Alibaba to build the system in the early days. So that's how I came to know them.
Describe what is now the relationship between Alipay and Alibaba.
Well,
very much in the news a few years ago.
Sure. Yes, we work very closely. Alipay process all the transactions for Alibaba properties, but we are two separate companies, but we work very, very closely. And yeah, I think that's the nature of our relationships. And Alibaba do have a lot of investment in Alipay.
Let's begin before we get to what you're doing in the U.S. Alipay in China. China had traditionally very real restrictions on developing a consumer culture.
Yes. And
you have played a key part in overcoming that. Can you describe Alipay, which is more than a payment process system?
That's exactly right. Alipay, from my perspective, is really the digital version of cash. People use Alipay to do everything over the internet, just about anything you can imaginable. It's not only about shopping in Taobao and Tmall and Juhuasu and all the properties, and they can actually use Alipay to almost every single website in China. And they do things like pay traffic tickets, top up their phone bills, pay phone bills, and the utilities, everything they do with it, and buy train tickets, everything. And even using phone to shop in offline in the convenience store. So basically use everything over, use Alipay.
In China, are companies like Tenpay a competitor? You dominate the market.
Yes, and Tenpay, yes, it is a competitor. And but if you really go to China, if you ask people and you see your friends, most people, it's very hard to imagine someone who don't have an Alipay account and only have Tencent. It's going to be very, very rare. So I think we are far, far leaders in that space.
Why did Alipay take off, as we say in the U.S., like wildfire in China? What were the restrictions to traditional brick and mortar outfits and credit cards and the like?
If I understand your question correctly, in the U.S., but outside China, the credit cards who typically issued by the Chinese banks intend to have a higher decline rate. So what we offer is, as part of the basic features of ePass, is to allow the U.S. merchant to directly interact with Chinese consumers. So,
but inside China itself, Alipay
yes.
Overcame the barriers to buying things.
Yes.
How did it do that?
It's essentially, if you look at the early days, Alipay is really about trust. And in the early days, people don't know who is going to ship it or who is going to buy it. And who is shipping first or is paying money first. And so we came up, inside China, we came up with escrow models so that people go to third parties such as us. So we facilitated transactions. Actually, it was a big factor in terms of building the ecosystem about e-commerce. And at that time, a credit card was not popular, a bank card was not convenient. So it gave us a perfect opportunity to grow, and it just the right time and the right place, and it grew like a wildfire, just like you said. It was great. It was a great experience.
To an outsider, it seems that you're becoming a big factor in finance. Your money fund is huge.
Yes,
Describe how you became to develop
We
a money
have a
fund.
few products in terms of like Alibaba, and we also doing something in terms of
Which translates into what treasure?
Yeah, it's translated to balanced treasure. It's what exactly the translation gonna be. Essentially, we kind of financial tools or financial institutions that are powered by the technology, by the internet technology, essentially allow people to earn more interest rates over the internet compared to traditional financial bankings. Reason being that we use technology at lower cost, and we can leverage the crowdfunding type of things to make it better. So yes, we are. I would think we are new type. We are like new type of financial services company, in a way. It's not only about the payment, of course.
Well, you have savings. You have wire services. You were helping small businesses in terms of
in terms of financing, in terms of loans. Yes, we have that. Yes.
So. Let me ask you an impolite question. How do the big state banks look at you?
I think we are partners of them, and we try to make the ecosystem better. And it's not only about in terms of domestic, also about international. So we try to make the entire system much better in China. And our strength is really internet, in technology, and the people have put trust in us. We have by far the largest members in terms of in our ecosystem.
It seems that this is the future of banking, what you're doing.
I would believe so, yes. Yeah.
Now, in the U.S., it would seem that you're providing, whether you call it one-stop service, concierge service, a superhighway to China. Describe what you're providing U.S. merchants who want to sell into China and do so in a very convenient way.
Yes, and our members, we have hundreds of millions of members in our ecosystems, and we notice a lot of them are buying from a U.S. website or from European websites.
One number you put out is that 67% of the luxury goods bought by Chinese are outside China.
Yeah, outside China, and they have great appetite for like such brands like U.S. or in China, and I'm sorry, in U.S. and in Europe, and the way we see that is that instead of them by themselves deploy a Daigou agent, instead we just came in.
A Daigou agent is a third party.
Third-party shopping agent, yeah.
And they have trust problems in China.
I think more is like there is certain uncertainty around it in terms of delivery, in terms of customs. So we came up with a program saying that at the core, it's about payment, meaning that a U.S. merchant will actually be able to convert actually people who want to shop. So by enable people who sit in China paying RMB, pay for the Chinese yuan.
Now describe briefly the restrictions of Chinese consumers, such as the amount of yuan they're allowed to hold, credit card restrictions, and you overcome those.
Yeah. So long as it's actually a real commercial transaction, that ban is being lifted. So we have a license from Chinese Central Bank that we do not have that limitation anymore. Used to have like $50,000 per year, and we no longer have that so long as it's a real commercial transaction. So we don't have that anymore. So essentially, it's allow the merchant to be able to direct sell into Chinese directly. So that's what we come up with. So remove the hurdles, remove out all the troubles, frictions from that process, and make everybody easier. That's essentially our process is.
And as part of the payment services you offer, you include custom duties.
Yes.
And what else do you include?
For example, so this is how it works. If a U.S. merchant such as Guild, they want to sell direct to China, and Guild will be at upfront will say, is this item is going to be shipped to China? They can do several ways. They can use drop-down box, or they can use based on IP technology. So basically, detect that's IP from China. And once we know that, they will go to a flow saying this. We will automatically be able to calculate the cost to China, and we will automatically calculate the cost to the import duties. And so we will give a customer clear instruction on how to do that. And the company will know how to ship it. So the core of that is that enabling selling to China just as easy as sell to domestic in US. So that's our core value proposition.
So you don't have to worry about currency restrictions, you don't have to worry about custom duties.
Customers don't have to worry about the FX.
Now you also provide logistics services, China's Smart Logistics Network.
Yes,
Describe
that's our,
that.
yeah. China Logistics Network is essentially an information technology play. It's trying to link between the Chinese customs, the actual logistics service provider warehouses, so that we link everything together so people know exactly where to ship, where to track it, and when the actual shipment going to the doorsteps of the consumers. So it's the information technology play system that we use.
So a retailer here wants to sells a product to a Chinese customer.
Yeah. Yes.
You will tell that retailer or what warehouse to ship the item to?
Yes. Yes.
And you will now one of the challenges in China is addresses.
Yes. So we will take care of that difficulties, and so we provide the U.S. retailer a domestic address, which they can just drop off the merchandise, and we'll take care from there to do how to do actual international shipping, and what cost going to be, which we collect from our consumers, and we actually take care of the last miles and clearing the Chinese customs, so everything from there.
Another part of your services is marketing, co-marketing. Can you provide some examples of how you've helped merchants sell in China?
I think one of the biggest strengths in terms of the marketing is that we have a lot of, like as I said, it's hundreds of millions of consumers, and we know them well. So we know their shopping behavior, we know where they buy things, so we can target them once we know that's the merchandise, that's a product they may need, and they may have a need for it. So we can help companies here in the US and the European companies that help them to go to a person who really needs a product. So it's targeting and retargeting of the consumers. And one of our company, a small company in Los Angeles, well, it's not that small anymore, but a year ago, they integrated with Alipay. And
is this iHerb?
Yeah, that's iHerb. And now we see their volume has grown about 10 times over a year. And we also have a company like in Germany. I just met their founder in June of last year, just past June, I met their founder. And he told me that when he started a company 4 years ago, he has no idea, this is not for China, this is just for Germany, domestic online sales. But when the site went live, all of a sudden it's all these Chinese are coming from. And over half of their buyers are from China. And last year they do 100 million euro for a very small, 4-year-old startup company. So I'm very proud to see this company doing well and be able to engage with Chinese consumers.
Alimama?
It's actually Alimama it's a search, it's an advertising part of it.
And global Taobao, what role does that play?
Global Taobao is part of platform for people who buy in globally, but that's the experience Taobao provided. It's not related to Taobao. Here we're trying to the e-pass. We're trying to allow the Western brands, like brands in Europe and US, to present their original experience to Chinese consumers, which some Chinese consumers like. They like their original Western brand experience. I think that's what we provide.
Nitty-gritty things. How do you deal with, do you provide translation services?
No, we try to provide the original experience. So our consumers, a lot of them will prefer to have an authentic, original experience. So they'll be in Germany or it'll be in English, so they can read it. If they don't, there is a great tool from Google Translate, and they can always use to figure it out. But I think the core of that is that they want original experience. I think that's the key. Yeah.
But you advise companies to use Mandarin to describe their background. Not all companies are well known in China.
I wouldn't do so directly, and I think there's a variety of ways, and the ways are how on their own they can establish their brands in China. China has the largest consumer, groups, and a lot of people are very young, well-educated, and relatively have a lot of money to spend. And they have, with the technology, with mobile, they can easily find out everything over the internet. And so if brand doing well, and they should be able to target target their consumers globally versus just US. They should be able to establish brands, and we can help on that as well.
Customer returns, how do you deal with those?
And at the current standard practice, there's very little returns. But further on, we will develop some process for the return to make it easier, and we will do that in the coming times.
Disputes, how do you handle which are inevitable in retail?
Yeah, yes, we work with retailers in terms of we have our own customer service team, so we'll handle case by case. Yeah.
Fraud, you've said that you have less of it than credit cards do.
Yes, we have a very, over past 15 years, I think one of the core strengths we have in Alipay is about our anti-fraud engine. So, and in China, what we do is that we will guarantee everything is on ourselves, meaning that if there is a fraud, there's money lost, we will pay for it. So the reason we can say that is that we have a very strong technology to prevent the fraud. So we have historically very, very, very low fraud rate, and it's still on us, meaning that we will guarantee all the money paid.
What do you see as the future of credit cards?
That's a good question. I think credit card is a product, and it still have merits, but I think over the time that industry has to have changed because of technology. Because credit card, if you think about it, it's really invented almost 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and technology has changed. The behavior of people have changed. I think there's something has to change.
We're focusing on the services you provide U.S. merchants to seamlessly go into China. You mentioned the German company.
Yeah.
What other countries are you providing this concierge service?
I think the core of that is that we want to be an infrastructure of global-minded companies to do business globally. Our philosophy at the very beginning, as our founder and chairman Jack Ma said, is to make it easy to do business anywhere. And I still think that's our fundamental mission, is that really to build an infrastructure to allow allow companies to do business anywhere in the world. So in other ways, so we are doing business in Brazil and it's doing well, and Russia, Canada, so all those countries are doing well. But it's a slightly different way. Sometimes it's China export to them, sometimes it's companies selling things to China. So as a payment infrastructure, so we facilitate both ends, both directions.
You have relations with over 180 financial institutions?
Yes, in China, yes.
And you can do how many currencies? 13, 15?
We have 14 currencies, yes. Yeah, so people can buy things in 14 different currencies, can buy the RMB and being settled in 14 different currencies. Yes.
Extraordinary service.
Yeah.
What are the costs to merchants to use your services?
Yeah, it depends on the features you use in our ePass program. If you use basic features such as payment, I think we are comparable to a card scheme in a way. And if you use more integrated advanced features such as logistic and a more price like a platform, just as if you go to a marketplace.
So you provide a menu of.
Yeah, it's different. It's tailored to different needs, definitely. Yeah.
Describe briefly what you just concluded, I guess about a year ago, with Universal Air Travel Plan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, essentially it's the same thing. It's basically we work with UATP and work with major airlines in U.S., Canada, and to allow people in China to be able to buy airline tickets directly at their home. And a lot of people are traveling to U.S. and Canada. So we're working with some airlines to be able to allow them to sell tickets directly over their website. And I think one of the fundamental problems in China is that even if they want to travel to China, they can only go to online to like Air China, things like domestic airlines. They don't know. They can actually buy directly from, such as United or Delta Air Canada, directly buy from their website. So we work with some top airlines to address that problem.
Is it working?
I think so. It's doing well. Yeah.
Future competition, companies like Flipkart. Are there others out there that you're looking at?
I think I'm focusing on doing best what we can do, and essentially we trying to really serve our consumers well, our members well, and our merchants well. So it's execution. I think we have the right strategy. We just have to focus on to get things done fast and doing well.
In merchandising in China, there are particular days that merchants are aware of.
Oh.
One of them is August 8th. Can you describe what
yeah,
is
there is
significant about August 8th?
I mean, there is something called Singles Day. We actually invented some time ago, I think 4 years ago. And during that day, we call Singles Day. It's a 4/11.
Now, is that November 11th?
Yes, November 11th. Yeah,
Right.
It's called Singles Day. I mean, in the U.S., there is a Black Friday and the Cyber
Right.
Monday. In China, we actually invent something called Singles Day. And the reason being that singles, I mean, 4/11, 4/1, I mean, it's a single. I mean, not going on much in life, just go shopping in the website. And this turned out to be a fantastic day for us. And during that day, we typically see the volume just driving big. I mean, last year we did $5.7 billion just in one day.
And your system held up.
And our system held up. I'm very proud of that. And we did big things in terms of backend systems and to make sure we can hold up. It's just as if in such a big country in China, just like over half of the people just go at the same time going to the store. It's just an analogy of that. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a very exciting days. Yeah.
Now, there's a sale day like August 8th. What is
I'm not
this?
sure. August
8/8?
8/8. Those are the 8/8 is what we call a Hai Tao Jie, meaning it's a day for shopping overseas. Yeah, we also invented that. It's not as big as the Singles Day. Yeah, that's the day where we organize all our merchant in overseas selling to China, try to festivalize that. Wait, yes, that's one.
So when are you going to make announcements about U.S. merchants using your services?
I think we have some very good merchants already working with us, such as H&M, and we have Uber use us in going to China, and we have a lot of coming up. So I think Guild will be coming on very soon, and Guild Design coming on very soon. So we'll have some very major brand names. I'm expecting most of the major retailers will be on our platform within a short time frame.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.